to you, Kate.
Through the pain barely describes what NFL star Adrian Peterson is doing just 2 days after the death of his 2-year-old son. The Minnesota Vikings running back returned to the field on Sunday. Now, this is not the first tragedy for Peterson and his family, and not the first time he's turned to football to help deal with it. Let's bring in NPR's Mike Pesca. This is a true coping mechanism for this athlete, right? The more you know about his story.
Yeah, that's a good point, because athletes, like all human beings, have a couple ways they deal with tragedy. Sometimes it's so distracting you can't do anything, but other times they take solace and refuge in the routine that is an NFL season. You know, NFL players, their lives are so much more regimented than anyone this side of the military. So by playing in this game, you get the sense that Adrian Peterson was perhaps able to forget, escape, do whatever he can to deal with the tragedy.
Was there a mixed reaction to, when you hear it on the surface, some would think, wow, how could he be going back just 2 days after his son? Was that some of the reaction?
No, you know, there's a little context in line.
Right.
Peterson, this is a total tragedy, full stop. There's nothing to be said about that. Peterson had not met the boy until, from reports that I've read, had not met the boy until he was in a coma, did not know of the boy's existence, did not have a relationship with the mother.
So any judgmental reaction needs that context.
Yes,
People
we
need
also
to understand
need, right, and we need to know that, of course, Peterson was unbelievably upset, but if his way of dealing with it was to play football, how can we judge?
That's the key. We have a
key.
text message that Adrian Peterson sent out about this, if we could put it up on the screen to understand this. I mean, this is a man who's, you see it right there. My brother passed the night before the combine. That's where you get measured as a player to see how you'll make it as a pro. I decided to go through with it. The same reason why I play this week. You may ask why. God wants good to come from it. We mourn and grieve, but heaven had the baddest welcoming party for my son. That knowledge gives me peace. I'm still hurt and feel the pain of life. And then you see he continues there. He's able to function because of he knows this. He's relying on his faith is what he's saying. But also, again, contextually, Mike, he loses one brother at one age. He loses another brother later on. Now his son, through each of it in his life, he's used football that way. You have to understand that to understand the decision.
Right, and what Adrian Peterson did is sort of like our societal decision writ large after things like 9/11, after things like the Kennedy assassination. There's always that debate. Do we put it aside, or do we get back to routine and maybe it helps us heal a little bit?
And that's how people deal. Many people deal with tragedy by wanting their lives to be as normal as possible, and that is their coping mechanism. So you can't judge him for that.
You don't know. I mean, there's so much unknown, and that's painful. And football is the world of the known for Adrian Peterson, where he's in control.
It's routine. He knows
exactly. Yeah. That's right.
The other big story in football, a very different story, is the story of two very different tales of records between two brothers, Peyton and Eli Manning. So there's a lot of build-up to the Broncos.